Hey guys, welcome back to Eversoul. In today's video, I wanted to talk about the leveling process and the way I maximize my efficiency in leveling my characters and using my dust and gold to try and really push as far as I can with the limited resources that we do have as free to play. Now, these principles will still apply to paid players, but obviously with paid players, you can buy more resources. You've got a lot more leeway with what you're doing and stuff like that. So this one, the first thing I want to say is it's basically all around min-maxing what experience or dust, if you want to call it, and gold you have. And obviously having good units, getting a good reroll, especially if you're free to play, is going to help. I had a really good roll on this account. So obviously I got the Adrienne and I had a bunch of the good fairies at the start of the game, which really helped me push campaign, because campaign's where you're going to maximize your AFK loot, and that's really going to help. So having a good team helps a lot, but the principles still apply no matter what units you've pulled and what your RNG has been like. So the first thing I want to talk about is playtime, because this is a funny one because it's an idle game. People think it's casual, but having more playtime is going to be vital to maximizing this process, because each day you're going to get mercenary usages, meaning you want to push as far in the campaign as you can without using those, which often means a lot of retries on stages to try and clutch some wins so that you can really maximize those 5 mercenaries. And like I said, I've just mentioned the mercenaries. They are going to be the most important thing. So getting some strong friends, which especially if you're early in the game now, or even if you're sort of around where I am, there are a lot of people with like 160 to 180 to 200 mercenaries in the game now. You can go on Discords, you can jump around the place, you will find people, even if you just go through, if you're in friends here and you're searching for friends and you're going to search friends, you can just search for really high level players, only add the high level players you see. For instance, like I'd add here, you know, you might add like 20 people and get 2 of them add you, but if you get 2 of them to add you, that will actually give you some really good mercenaries that will really help you along your way. So mercenaries are huge, and like I said, only using them when you absolutely need to. That is a very big important thing. Now, the next thing I want to look at is using fixed amounts of dust and gold, so obtaining fixed amounts. Now, there's multiple places we can do this. For instance, here, whoops, let's go here. Oh, sorry, that's the connecting issue. It always, yeah, here we go. So for instance, in these missions, which you will be doing anyway, but just keep in mind, in these missions, you can see like I haven't reached keepsake level 6. I could have done this in my first day of play or the second day of play and got myself an extra 50,000, which actually is pretty solid amount back then. So that's another way I could have done it, but I'm just holding out on keepsakes because I hate upgrading them. But that's these are one place where you can get fixed amounts of dust and gold. But the big one, the very big one, which you can control a little bit better, is pushing the faction gates every day they're open. Now, this starts to dwindle in efficiency once you're at where I am, because I need sort of 400,000 dust to do 1 level, and as you can see, when I clear one of these stages, I'm getting 180,000, so it's half a level for a character. But back down these down these lower stages, for instance, in my second day of play, I think I cleared like 30 floors of the whatchamacallit, the fairy gate. And that gave me so much experience and such a massive boost in experience and gold, or dust and gold, that it really allowed me to level my characters up and just continue to boost my progression faster and faster and faster. So that was an absolute huge thing. So being sure you stay on top of these gates is very important. Now, a lot of these tips, once again, I have put in previous videos, but I just want to highlight the leveling process and what we're prioritizing, because I know people will say that I've said this before. Yes, I have, but it's a very important thing to emphasize, because this is really how you do it, especially in the early game. Now, the next thing that I want to look at is, like I said, pushing campaign. Now, there's something with pushing campaign that you really want to optimize. So it's basically, you only want to use your mercenaries when you're absolutely stuck. I did mention this, but basically, if you look at where I am now here, I find that normally in the game, you can push at about a 1.5x deficit. You can actually push at a little bit of a higher deficit if you have good units in the early game. But if you can push at about a 1.5x deficit, meaning the enemy team is about 1.5 times your power, that's a pretty good place to be sitting. And that's normally where you want to be on the in-between stages. On the elite stages, then if you're pushing at that kind of deficit, the deficit here becomes anywhere from 1.7 to 1.8 times your power, and these are the ones where you're going to have to use a lot more of your mercenaries. Now, once you get into like chapter 11, chapter 12, most of these elite stages you will have to use a mercenary on, just because they start putting the angel or the demon, Ayame or Adrienne, in pretty much every stage, and they just fill these stages with annoying units that just absolutely shred you. So when you're at a 1.7x deficit, it becomes that you really almost need that mercenary to help you out. However, in the first like sort of 10 chapters, if you can really push, like I said early on, the time that you play and keep retrying these stages, you can actually beat a lot of these elite stages by using just your team and saving those mercenaries. And once again, this is where playtime comes into it, because if it takes you an hour to clear one of these elite stages on retries, you know, you're going to need that time. Otherwise, you're not going to get around to using your mercenaries at all. So that is the very important one, is using those mercenaries to try and get through here and grinding as many stages as you can without actually having to use them, so that you can get as far as possible. Then the final thing that I want to talk about is going to be using these items in the bag. As you can see here, I've got like over 100 hours worth of dust and well and truly over 100 hours worth of gold in my bag that I still have not used. The reason being is that I only use these when I have done everything else that I can do for the day and use all of my mercenaries, and then I still have time to keep progressing. So I don't use those unless I absolutely have nothing else that I can do. I'm absolutely capped. That is it. Because if we look here, for instance, today, if we jump through here, and I go enter, I've still got all my mercenary usages. I've only got 3 there, but I've only hired 3 because I was getting another friend on. So I haven't used any mercenaries today. So I'm going to use one on this stage 12-10. Then I'm going to try and push through all the in-between stages. Now, if I get stuck on one of those in-between stages that I really want to only use my units for, I may use some of those resources in my bag to boost my levels so that I don't have to use a mercenary, so that I can only use my mercenaries on the elite stages. So ideally today, I've got about 7 hours left in the day today. And my ideal range of getting to is I want to use my 5 mercenaries on elite stages. So that would be 12, 10, 15, 20, 25, and 30. So ideally by the end of this day, if I have the playtime available to me, I want to finish the day on 12-30. Now, like I said, if I get stuck on one of those in-between stages, I will gauge how difficult I think it is. And if I think, with a few more levels, I can pop some of my dust and my gold, put like 3-4 levels into all my characters. And if I think that I'm close enough that will get me over the line, I will do that so that I can save out on using a mercenary. If it feels like an impossible stage, because some of those in-between stages do just feel impossible, then I will just use a mercenary on it and keep going. Now, the other thing is, if you are running out of time, then you just got to start spamming mercenaries. If you're in the last half hour of the day, just at least get those mercenary usages out of the way, get some free clears, and then just be ready for the next day. So, like I said, that is pretty much the process that I've gone with to optimize my experience, because you want to be using those items in your bag as late as possible. But also you don't want to be not using them at all. So you want to optimize the way you're doing it so that when you're actually using them, you're getting the best AFK loot for... Ooh, let's check this out. I have not had an AFK legendary drop yet. Let's receive it and see what it is. Sorry, I had to do this. What do we get? What do we get? It's a Dex music box. I've already got one of those. Damn it, I keep doubling up. Now I've got 2 Dex music boxes and 2 intellect mirrors. Get wrecked. But anyway, sorry, I got a bit sidetracked. But yes, you want to be optimizing those items in your bag, basically pushing your progression as far as possible and using them once you have the most available to you. But like I said, if you don't have the playtime available to you and you can't grind out an hour on one stage to try and clear it, then maybe you use them a little bit earlier. It all depends on your playtime. but maximizing your 1, playtime, maximizing 2, those faction gates, especially early on to get those fixed rewards, and then using your friends only when you absolutely need to based on how much time you can allocate to the game is going to be the key ways that you do maximize that progress. So hopefully that makes sense. That's just my brain and what I'm doing to try and min-max a little bit in this game. But if it helped, let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like to see to help with progression and stuff like that on what I'm doing. I can't tell you what exactly is the right way and the best way. I can only tell you guys what I'm doing to try and maximize my progress. But that is going to be for this one, guys. Thanks for watching. I hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.